So for this quick hit podcast that I wanted to put out this Saturday morning leading into all the games, I wanted to talk about people complaining about, and this isn't a criticism of people because I can see people complaining about this crew, but the three-man crew of Shroff, Kessenich, and Carcaterra. People hate on these guys, and I like to joke like in the same way they like to joke with each other. I mean, they're dorky, they're foolish, but they're fun. What I like about the that three-man crew, it's, kind of ESPN's money crew for these games, and they do the biggest games together, is when these three guys are together, they have a riot, and the fact that they're having a riot is good enough for me. Like, the fact they're having fun, it makes it more entertaining to watch. The fact that they're willing to goof on each other makes me like it makes everything they do easier to watch. It makes them more likable. I mean, I feel like people are overly critical because of the loyalties that these guys have to their team. So Kessenich was an All-American goalie at Hopkins. I grew up a Cuse fan. I grew up watching those early battles when Kessenich was the Hopkins goalie. I hated him when I was a kid, and I hated him initially when he first started doing games because I was still kind of stuck in that young man's, hey, I hate Hopkins, and I hate Virginia, and, I don't want to see Matt Ward and these guys do games either, but the reality is they're the best in the game. They are the best ambassadors for the game that we have. Carcaterra, being a Syracuse grad, I have no choice but to love him too. But these guys are legitimately friends, you can tell. They legitimately know the game, you can tell. Yes, they get things wrong at times. Yes, they say stupid things at times, but, I mean, you don't know how hard it is to do what they do until you try to sit in a seat and talk to people that aren't in front of you about things, and you try to do it on the fly like I'm doing right now. This shit's hard. And I didn't realize how hard it was, but you can tell it's hard, and that I know it's hard, and I recognize how hard this is. Sorry to say hard so many times. In the fact that all of these podcasts I put together and the videos we put together so far, we've cut them up. I do takes, and then I put together the best takes. This week I've stopped doing that, and I'm going to start one-taking more things, but these guys are just spouting off nonsense on the fly. So they are going to be prone to mistakes. They're going to be prone to saying foolish things. They're going to be prone to saying wrong things. They're going to be prone to saying silly things at times. But the reality is, these guys are freaking incredible at their jobs. They are the best ambassadors that we have for this sport. Right now, I'm not even trying to say I wish there was somebody else. I don't. These guys are great. I enjoy watching them play. And when I tune into a game and I know that I either have two of them together or at least one of them, the Notre Dame and Maryland telecast last week had Carc with Mike Golick Jr., And actually, hey, hats off to Mike Golick Jr. I hope to see him do more games. I'm not sure if that was a one-off for the purpose of that Notre Dame game, being that that's his alma mater, and that's where his dad went also. But he did a great job too. So I would love to see Mike Golick Jr. get into doing more of these games because I thought he knew the sport and he did a great job. But as long as I got Quint and Shroff on these games, and I always mess up Shroff's name for some reason, even though I've heard it a million times, but they are incredible. Shroff is by far the best play-by-play. He does a wonderful job of letting Quint and Carc play against each other. I mean, the best crew in the game. And I'm not trying to kiss their butts. I'm not trying to kiss their ring right now because they are the kings of this, and they're the kings of this in all areas because it doesn't just stop at they're commentating on games and doing these telecasts. They do podcasts. They do other lacrosse ambassadorial or whatever you want to call it things and projects and crap like that. So these guys are growing the game hard. And I think it's great seeing people complain about it, and I think it's great seeing people tell them that they need to jump off Duke's dick, for lack of a better term, and things like that, because people were upset last night and complaining about how all about Duke they were. My homie Mike, you were one of those guys that said it was making you sick to listen to them gush about Duke. Mike is a diehard Syracuse fan, as am I. So I can understand Mike's point of view here, but now that I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm watching as much lacrosse as I'm watching and I'm having to talk about it as much as I have to, I'm falling into their camp now. I've become a fan of Duke and Danowski and his way. I've become a fan of the new Virginia culture. I love Michael Krause and Dox Aiken. I love players like Paul Brian Costabile. And, I'm going to admit this. I like Kyle Marr, even though that's blasphemy and I should be slapped for saying that I like a Hopkins player out loud. I'm happy to see Joey Epstein doing well, and Cole Williams I think is great. I'd take those guys on Cuse in a heartbeat. So that's blasphemy. I'm sorry to all my Cuse brethren and everything like that, but I think that they get unfairly criticized, albeit it is within all of your rights to criticize the hell out of them. I just want to say that I will pick on them at times, and I will, throw stones at them here and there, but I don't want it to go unnoticed, and I don't want it to go unsaid that I am greatly appreciative of what they do, and I think they do an incredible job. I don't think anyone anytime soon, possibly ever, is going to come in and dethrone these guys. I expect these guys are going to do this for another 10 or 20 years, and I hope they do. And thanks. That's it.